Everybody, it's the Mad Master here. I'm doing a video today about Beijing Biden's approval amongst the left and quote unquote left. And also, because the real left really never liked him all that much. And I know that's kind of a no true Scotsman fallacy, but that's just my opinion. So, this one is about this really curious video that I saw on CNN called Biden, a Crisis of Competence. And it was really weird to see because you would not expect that from the Cuomo Nepotism Network or Clinton News Network or Communist News Network, whatever you want to call it. I don't think they're communists, by the way. I think that's a really stupid term to use about neoliberal corporatist types, who are more fascist than anything. If you want to really use world history as a example, the merger of corporate and state power, basically. And pardon my hair, I just woke up, take a shower, comb my hair in this video, but it was really interesting to see this analysis from this dude because you've seen them say, like, people say he was going to be like the next fucking FDR, Lincoln, or whatever. Biden's so great. You know, some of these networks saying like what was that thing about, there was a lot of stuff like a New Year's celebration with the fireworks. It's like or like sometimes you know, Statue of Liberty. It's like Biden. I forgot it's in an older video of mine. It's just some of the hubris and the just some of the it's insane like celebratory things that they said about Biden in the beginning were really like silly, like almost on like a Trump supporter level, where like he's like, you know, the God Emperor, and like he's gonna save us all from the globalist new world order and all that stuff. It was on that level with some of CNN and MSDNC's types of coverage. But now you're seeing this thing on some of these networks where they're actually questioning Biden, and it's a little bittersweet for me because it's like, well, I didn't vote for Biden. I was always against him becoming the nominee, and early on I was like, I am not voting for Biden. I am not voting for Biden. I am not voting for Biden if he becomes the nominee. I stood my ground. I didn't even vote in the last election, so I stood my ground because I do not believe in what he stands for in a lot of ways. You know, he's this soft grandfather kind of thing. Yeah, did he have that soft grandfatherly type of thing back in the 90s when he voted for the crime bill? When he voted for all these wars? When he voted for all these, you know, like, what was it, the bankruptcy bill? Did he have that soft grandfatherly thing? You know, that aura of this nice guy that's been, you know, part of it's, I don't know if part of it's intentional or if it's, you know, just him actually literally getting old. So I did not vote for him. For the last 2.5 years, I've been screaming to the, you know, on the rooftop about how he's not going to be a good president, how he's going to disappoint and disappoint and disappoint and disappoint. Yeah, people were like, well, he's better than Trump. So it's a little bittersweet for me to see the actual mainstream media actually call out Biden. Now, I think it's partially for the wrong reasons, because we all know that the mainstream media is beholden to the military-industrial complex. So they do have this like subtle subconscious influence on a lot of these commentators. Oh, well, he pulled out of Afghanistan and it was a botched operation. So that doesn't show competency. So this segment, it's about that, and then it's about the I'll just say, because I know certain things I'm trying to keep my channel, so the C virus response, I'll just say that, and how he's bungled that in various ways, and you know, just a lot of because now the popularity has gone down because look at what's happening. We're kind of back to square one. Like I said in my previous video, Vietnam War is an apt comparison. So we have these mainstream commentators talking about Biden, in this way that's like, is he? I mean, it's kind of silly to see this now because it's like, I told you so. It's like, I know that he was going to be not the greatest president. Um, all these things, all these red flags. It's like, you see, like, let's say you're like sister or brother, brother or sister date someone that's like a total like loser, like, but you warn them in the beginning, like, you shouldn't be dating this guy, you shouldn't be seeing this guy. I've heard a lot of bad things about him, but she's like, no, he's a good guy. You just don't understand him. Oh, he's such a great guy, And then months later, they're abusive. The boyfriend or whoever is abusive, and he's just like a total douchebag or whatever. And you're just like, well, I was always saying that from the beginning. Why didn't you listen to me? Well, people don't listen to me, like in general a lot of the time, and I need more confidence in my words and stuff when I say things. But yeah, it's like, you know that Biden is not doing the best job, but the really scary part of that segment is, I think they have free reign to attack Biden because of that neoliberal nexus of, endless war in Afghanistan, Iraq, and elsewhere, and that he pulled out. He gave a little bit to the peaceniks, a little bit. So now it's like, oh my God, Biden. We could say Biden's incompetent, right? Yeah, we could say it. So this segment is hilarious because it's like this guy is just this typical like half like NPR liberal, like just like ivory tower, like sort of hip dude. I don't even know. I've never seen his show or anything. I don't even know who this guy is. I don't watch CNN regularly. I'm sorry. And you see this guy, it's just like, well, he's not Trump. And it's like every other sentence is like, he's not Trump, but he's not Trump. Like he has to add the like, well, Trump was bad. Trump was bad, but Biden's kind of bad. You know that? Biden's kind of bad. Did you know that? Ooh. I'm just like, I'm watching this segment and laughing my ass off because it's just become a clown show at this point with everything that's going on. And people just are not, and I think Bernie Sanders, who I supported for years, sold the fuck out too. Watch that Crystal Kyle show segment, or was it Breaking Points? No, it was Crystal Kyle, where they interview. It's only, I think it's Crystal and Kyle segment. It's one of the two, anyways. It just kind of runs together in my head because Crystal Ball is on all of them. But she interviews Bernie. He's like saying like he's the best president since, or Biden's the best president since, or he has the potential to be the next FDR and all this. He's just kind of hyperbolic bullshit, right? And she's just sitting there like, it's really hilarious. So yeah, I think Bernie sold out as well. So I think he changed his tune about billionaires and millionaires too. I've heard like he used to talk about millionaires too. Now he's just talking about billionaires because he became a millionaire with his book, which I did buy. It's on my bookshelf. But I also have it like Ron Paul's book too. I have a lot of books. So yeah, I think this Biden, like the Biden worship is kind of that period is over. His honeymoon period. It's like the stages of a relationship. You have the honeymoon stage that lasts, for me, it's only about 3 or 4 months, unfortunately. But as I warn every girlfriend sometimes, and the hormones just run out at that point. So, and then you got the power struggle stage, and then you got the other stage. So. Doesn't mean it always will last that long with a girlfriend. I'm just saying a lot of times it does. So we're out of that stage, and now the media is calling into question. We just have to watch out why they're calling it into question. And I think a lot of it's because of the Afghan withdrawal and how it was handled. Now, that's the problem, though. It's like, do you want to side with someone like William Crystal or, um, you know, what's his name? All these people that are just like these neocons and neoliberals that are like, if maybe if Hillary calls them out next week about that, it's like, I would have stayed the course, or some kind of bitchy shit she might say. It's you've got to be careful of these things, because it's like, it's one thing to call out Biden for being just the usual corporatist warmonger, and then calling him out for pulling out of Afghanistan, maybe say, with a little bit of a side of like, yeah, he did it the wrong way. Of course, it was a shameful act, because it was just, the whole thing was shameful. Say that, and instead of saying, oh my God, oh, we were pulling out, we need to have these wars forever, just like this new forever war that we're in. Of course, like I talked about in my last video, it'll never end. So they don't want these wars to end. People make too much money from war, so of course some people got pissed off, about this, like, oh, well, now he's like pulling out like Trump said he would, oh God, so it's really real cognitive dissonance to see these like commentators come out and say, like, when they attack Biden, of course they have to like put a little dollop of of salt against Trump in each, like disclaimer, Trump sucked, but disclaimer, Trump sucked. It was like watching this analysis was one of the funniest things. These people are fucking insane. What is going on with our mental health? People talk about mental health and the mental health advocacy, but I think half these fuckers are loons. They, half these like news and like political commentators are just completely nuts. I think, if the loony bins, like, back in the day were still around, half these people would not like seem so out of place in those places. So, I mean, you talk about me with my messy hair right now and sitting on my couch, but and maybe I'm a little nuts too, but it's just, it's insanity. So I don't think that's a good thing that's happening with that. I'm going to make a prediction that's going to be really controversial, and this might really kind of piss people off, but I predict I'm going to make this prediction. I just have this feeling that within the next 6 to 8 months, Biden is going to step down. I could be wrong. I don't usually make predictions, but I have about the virus stuff, and I was wrong, because I was following David Katz, who was wrong about herd immunity. He was just like, oh, by October we'll all have herd immunity. Facepalm, there's a facepalm moment. That's what he said, Dr. David Katz of Harvard University. See, the thing is, when people talk about experts, it really depends on the expert you're talking about. These guys are, it's not Mercola. It's actual people that are still legit doctors and stuff saying different things. It's not just these quacks, out there that are saying this stuff. Like, what's their name, the Tenpenny or whatever the hell. It's not all quacks saying. I mean, it's not all people like that saying stuff, predicting stuff. But anyways, this is about Biden's stepping down. So I think, let's just say within 8 to 10 months he'll step down. I think Kamala Harris is going to take over. He'll give health reasons. Unfortunately, at this moment, I've decided to step down from being president of the United States. And it's not going to be. I don't think he might not be even as demented as people are saying. He's demented. He has Alzheimer's, whatever. We don't know that. He does not talk like he did 10 years ago. And I'm going to say something else. I don't think Trump does either. But Trump still has that. I think Trump actually dumbs down how he talks at these rallies. I've analyzed this a lot, because I've watched like 5 or 6 of his rallies already, because I'm just fascinated. I've been fascinated since day one. Let's just face it. I bought the comic, the Superman Lex Luthor comic that has a picture. The actual cover is it's modeled after Art of the Deal, because I was just fascinated by that. And then I bought Art of the Deal too. They suck. I thought it was fascinating. I think the guy's fascinating, you know, in many ways. So watching his rallies, he definitely dumbs down the way he speaks, and that's Trump, of course. Biden doesn't have rallies. Biden doesn't have rallies of tens of thousands of people like Trump does. I'm sorry. So Biden's not beloved by a huge amount of people. I mean, he has supporters and fans, but it's just like, yeah, he's just kind of an autocrat, not an autocrat. What's the word? Just like just a typical bureaucrat, you know, a guy. And I think there's like this other Russian word that I could use, but I'm trying to think of that. It's just like you're kind of you're just it's not failing up, but it's just like failing or being mediocre and coming up, you know, into a reality like that. And that's how the Biden thing has been done throughout his life and a career. You know, he was never, I don't know, it's sad. I mean, he should have probably chosen a different profession. It's just like George W. Bush. It's just like, you know, you should have been a baseball team manager instead of being, you know, a politician, because that probably would have fit your personality and your interests more. And I'm sure Biden is a similar person. You know, it's just like he became this. I don't know much about his family history as far as politics, but I don't think that is what he should have done in his life. Maybe he should have been an ice cream sampler taster, you know. But anyways, yeah, Biden's popularity is on the wane, and it's going to take a lot of public relations and other things. And if this is a silver lining, though, for all the mandates, you know what I'm talking about, all these ideas, all these weird things that are on the table, all these wars that might be on the table. He's going to have a harder time convincing people of these things if his popularity isn't, 60% or whatever. And that's a good thing. You know, it's a good thing that there's incompetency in this situation, because it's kind of like Iraq. It's like, well, at first people were all on board. It's like, yeah, we gotta get the terrorists that attacked us on September 11th. I was in this class in college, and this girl was like attacking me and my friend / former drummer for not supporting the war in Iraq early on. It was early on. It was like, they did. Last time I checked, they were all from Saudi Arabia. That's the power of the media in brainwashing people, and people just do not question it. Just like right now, they're giving it's not about saying something like a statement. It's about more of an impression and mood sometimes. Just like if you actually read back then where the terrorists were from, they're counting on low information people. Like, they're counting on to support all this shit. Like, anybody that reads, anything about just like how many liberals overestimated the amount of hospitalizations with the current virus crisis. Like Bill Maher talked about this. Like, it was like 10 times more, like 8 or 10 times more or something than the actual number. It's stuff like that. And with this Iraq war thing, she was like believing they were trying to, in the media, she probably just saw some headlines or just read a little bit or saw some news saying, oh wait, Iraq was involved in, or Al-Qaeda was in Iraq. Oh my God, we gotta attack them. And if you just read a little bit more and looked into it a little bit more, you know that all the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia and like Egypt and stuff. So it's just one of those things. People are just lower information, just a little bite-sized pieces. They count on that, they count on that, and they get their clicks and their advertising revenue and all that stuff. So I've gone completely off the map, or not, off the script in this video. But that's my whole thing. I think this is what happened. Is that a lot of it was because of these neoliberals and neocons. So the establishment sometimes does, but I will say this, and this is just something that just actually snapped in my brain right now. That's just the way my brain works. The establishment sometimes follows the masses. It's like, well, we gotta, it's like they push them in this direction sometimes. And like in the case of Biden, it's like enough people don't like Biden on the left and the right that there's like, well, maybe Biden's not so good. Maybe we have to say that. Maybe we have to pretend we don't like Biden a little bit, or or even say, even just say that, it's just like they have to admit it. It's just like, another thing would be Vietnam in a way. After a while, a lot of the establishment people started to say, yeah, Vietnam, we got to pull out, we got to get out of there. Even these like people that were gun ho about it from the beginning. That's just what happens with a lot of stuff. I'm starting to see like the cyclical nature of politics and how things are as I'm going along. It's taken a long time to kind of see these things happening, and that's why from the beginning with the virus crisis I was so skeptical, because I saw the cyclical nature of crises and political motivations behind the handling of crises, and also the opportunistic hands in it, and sometimes maybe bordering on conspiratorial hands once in a while too. Projects for a new American century versus certain labs in China. Who knows? Sorry to make that connection, but it's just the way it goes. Like when I saw New Normal, when I heard about it's the new normal, okay, I was like, well, that sounds a lot like this. America will never be the same, all this stuff, like this new reality or the death of irony, all these ideas and slogans and well, they didn't call them memes back then, but these ideas that came about after 9/11. When I was starting to be skeptical, my first reaction to 9/11 is like, America deserved it, because I was completely anti-American at the time. In fact, I'm going to do some videos coming up today. There's 2 more videos I'm going to do today. I'm going to do when I was a communist, when I was a Satanist. That's about all. See you in the next video.